OU offense versus the Texas defense. Here's where I want to start, Ted. You work all year long for the opportunity for it to come down to the last drive in the Cotton Bowl to go beat Texas. That's what all the work in the winter's for. All the reps in spring ball, all the summer workouts, all of training camp. That is what you are working towards. And for them to have that opportunity, minute 17 to go, ball in your hands, go win the damn game, for them to execute in that situation is fantastic. It's fantastic football. And it was interesting. I had multiple coaches after the game tell me on the field, we worked that exact situation in practice multiple times this week. We ran that exact sequence of plays, and we took what we did on the practice field and went and executed it at a high level, right? When all the pressure was on. That's what it's all about, man. I mean, you work those situations in practice over and over again. And for Dillon Gabriel to do what he did, right, to make those throws, to make those plays, I told him after the game, gave him a big hug. I said, dude, you're going to be a legend forever for that drive. That's how it works, man. And he just looked at me, the big old smile. He was like, oh, man. I was like, forever. People will never forget it. And it was, I mean, it's one of the best drives in OU football history. That's what it is. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it is. How much fun was that, dude?
It's incredible. And for it to go down the way that it did, like you said, the coach is talking about practicing that exact sequence of plays. It's what you dream of as a coach, because like the biggest thing obviously is you have the success, and that's great for everyone. But it shows the players like, this is why we do what we do every day, right? And then you go and you watch it on film, and it seeps in. And as more and more of those situations happen, the buy-in becomes stronger and stronger with your football team.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Now, let's just go through each position group, how we have in the past. Dillon Gabriel mentioned the game-winning drive, but 23 of 38 for 285 and a touchdown. I thought he had some awesome throws on out routes and comebacks all the way across the field. Ted, yep. I thought he showed some really good arm strength in those situations. Legs, his legs may have been the difference in the football game, right? What he did, not only scrambling, but there was a lot of called QB run. And some people it may look like a scramble, but there was QB draw. There was some read game. Like Lebby, I thought Lebby did a really good job of getting to some +1 runs against that Texas defensive front, right? Get an extra hat in the blocking scheme. And the easiest way to do that is direct snapping the ball to Farooq like they did and running that bunch truck play. And then I just realized truck is keywords and runs. It's like down and around. So pin pulls, truck, tractor, stuff like that. It's usually down and around. So getting out on the edge, that's what they were running with Farooq. Mm-hmm. Now, Dillon Gabriel, was it perfect? No. But man, it was really dang good. I thought that he did a really good job on the called runs, whether that was the draws. They ran some QB gap scheme. He ran with toughness. He played with attitude. Saw some speed on the 44-yarder. But the final drive is where he was at his best, right? I mean, to open it up, throws an absolute strike right in between two inside linebackers to Drake. Then he goes with a long comeback throw all the way across the field to Farooq, right? Farooq gets some extra yards after the catch. The next throw to Drake, he avoids pressure, keeps his eyes downfield.
Yep.
Keeps his eyes downfield, maybe thinks about running, but sees Drake come wide open. There's a massive play. Then he gives Nick Anderson a chance down the sideline. They get called for PI. Then it's the QB draw. And then you find Nick Anderson for the game winner, right? And the pocket's collapsing on him. We'll get to Walter Rouse blocking two guys on that play. Oh,
that was awesome. I saw that tweet you put out.
So sweet. So that's big time stuff. But he feels it and just kind of trusts that Nick Anderson's going to be there. Puts it back there. He's wide open. Ball game. Statistically, it's not his best game ever. I don't care. You go into that setting and you make the difference, the type of difference that he made in this game. It is undoubtedly his best performance for me since he's been at Oklahoma. I thought he was the difference in the football game, right? Not taking anything away from OU's defense, but the way that he played, the way he carried himself, the key plays he made, I thought he had the biggest influence on OU winning this football game, right? And he's the quarterback. That's what comes with the position. But man, I was happy for him. That was an awesome performance that people are going to remember for forever.
I totally agree. He made some incredible throws. And that last one, he made a lot of throws under pressure, stepping up in the pocket with things collapsing around him, pushing the ball downfield. I thought that was great. And none more evident than that final play of the game or final play for the offense on that drive where he's got pressure. It's kind of piling around him. He steps up into the mix. It looks like he's going to get sacked and trusts the route. Sees they have like a little, like a 2-man rub or pick game kind of going on where they're trying to get the defenders mixed up, and it works perfectly. They get mixed up. They both cover the same route. Nick Anderson, the 6'4" guy, is wide open, the one you leave open on the back line of the end zone, and just a perfect throw, a great catch in the perfect spot. How awesome are those camera angles from that corner of the end zone?
I would imagine Nick Anderson just screaming right in that ESPN camera right in his face, and he's just like screaming as loud as he can. You got to put that on a T-shirt somewhere. Just fantastic.
It was awesome. It was just a great moment.
I mean, what a moment. Not only for DG, but for Nick Anderson. I mean, and for the entire football team. Now, let's go to wide receiver. I thought it was Jalil Farooq's best game of his career at Oklahoma. It's similar to what you said about Ethan Downs. Whatever Farooq did before this game, he needs to do it every game. That is as fast and as physical as I've seen him play. And let's be real, man, he had a look about him before this game, right? I know a lot of people have seen the video, like him welcoming all challengers from the Texas Longhorns.
Did you see the Jon Snow comparison?
That's awesome. Exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
But he did some really nice things as a runner. I liked them getting him the football in the direct snap situations, getting him out on the edge. He had 5 for 130 as a receiver, had the big catch down the sideline on another great ball from Dillon Gabriel. But the thing that I love about Farooq, man, he plays the position with toughness, with physicality, and he did his damage after the catch, right? And those yards may not feel like they're that big of a deal, but those wear on a defense, man. And it was catch, break a tackle, get extra yards. He looked so sudden with the ball in his hands. It's as twitchy as I've seen him look out there. And I love the way he played. I thought he was awesome.
I agree. Here's what I think is really, really cool. One of our best things as an offense and one of our best things as a defense are the same exact thing. Defensively, you almost are wasting a snap and likely to go backwards when you throw a bubble against our defense. They kick the shit out of wide receivers on the edge that are trying to block them. It ain't close. On the offensive side, our wide receivers block their asses off when we throw the bubble. The bubble is just easy. Can they get off a block and can they run and can they tackle? It's the easiest way to test a defense and just their fundamentals. And those plays for us are still an extension of the run game and still like you can break one at any moment. I think that says a lot about this football team.
I'm with you. It's kind of just a physicality play, right?
Yep.
Like, hey, are you tougher than
you just transferring the physicality from the inside where usually people do it to the outside? It's the same game.
Yeah. Hey, can you whoop the man across from you? That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in its simplest form, that's what all those bubble plays are. So, guy that's pretty good at them, Drake Stoops, whether it's out of the blocker or catching them, but had the two massive catches on the game-winning drive, right? Because, of course, he's Drake Stoops. He always shows up when you need him, right? They even, and this is why I love Drake, and I can't imagine he loves it, but they're like down around by the goal line. They're putting him in the backfield. He's the guy running the split action, going and blocking the in man on the line of scrimmage on split zone. Like, just dude is tough as nails, just throwing his body around. I mean, it's just what he does. Now, DG missed him on a couple important situations. Don't get me wrong, but still, overall, all that guy does is make plays in big moments for Oklahoma. Just fantastic.
I agree, and he's one of those that we're gonna miss. And if you didn't know better and you just are going through the roster, checking height and weight, easily replaceable, right? No, not going to be easily replaceable. He's an absolute stud. He's a coach's dream. He's been fantastic this year.
And I loved how often he was getting in Texas's guy's face. It was just fantastic to watch. I loved it so much. Now, Andrell Anthony, I thought he did some really good stuff. Man, some really nice comeback routes, was playing fast. It's clear that guy's got speed, man. But really, I think our takeaway from Andrell's performance, like, is he all right? Because, and this is where my hope is that the MRI will come back and that the football gods will take care of him, because he got hurt because he was playing with great effort, extra effort on a play, right? DG escapes pressure. He takes off running. Anthony busts his tail to turn into a blocker, is battling, and then kind of the knee, it looked like it just gave out on him.
Yeah.
My hope is that he will be rewarded for the extra effort and that it won't be that bad. And we'll see. Hopefully he's not gone for too long, but did not look good out there, but kind of just have your fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. It looked a lot like Justin Harrington's. Justin Harrington's like, he's coming down from the second level and is engaged with a blocker, an offensive lineman, just for a brief moment. And then you see his leg just kind of bite on him. Kind of had the same type of feeling there. Hopefully you get good news. Here's the thing, man. We've got some young guys that have played well and have been trying to, find just little areas in the game to chip away and get some reps and make a contribution. Well, if the news isn't good with Andrell Anthony, someone's going to have to step up and be a consistent player in a much larger chunk of snaps. So it's unfortunate for Andrell if it's bad, but like, this is part of the game and this is what it means to be a team. Someone has to step up and carry that burden.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay, but we'll see. We'll see whatever Venables has to say when we get an update there. Nick Anderson, if you're going to have one catch for 3 yards, might as well make it a 3-yard catch to beat Texas. I thought he did some good things. I thought he was playing fast. I thought he was physical out there as a blocker when he was put in those situations, but sometimes the ball doesn't find you until it does.
That's right.
And it's easy to catch. Hey, I have to imagine that thing was just floating to him in slow motion. Oh my gosh.
That's the worst whenever you have time to think about it. It's like, oh my gosh, here it comes. I'm wide open. This is the game winner. All you have to do is catch the perfect pass. You'd prefer for it to be on you and you just react and catch it, but awesome by him. And he's one of those guys I'm talking about. You know, if the news with Andrell Anthony isn't good, going to have to step up and fill that void.
No doubt. Only other guy is Jaden Gibson almost had a highlight reel catch on the deep ball, but we saw him get out there when Andrell went down. But you mentioned it. Bigger role for Gibson moving forward if Andrell Anthony is out. So we'll see. He's going to get his opportunities, right?
Yep.
I know he is a guy that has been eager for more.
Yep.
Right? So we'll see. But he may end up being a very integral part of what they're doing offensively moving forward. All right, running back. Tawee Walker. Listen. He may not be the most dynamic guy we've ever seen here at Oklahoma. But this is where I'm at with it. There's just no doubt he's this team's best running back for me. I don't know what's going on with Javonte Barnes. I don't know what's going on with Sawchuk. But of all the dudes, he goes out there and gets yards and inflicts pain on defenders and is solid in blitz pickup. Right? You look at the numbers, like 15 for 46. Some tough runs, man, but had the 2 touchdowns. This guy is a weapon around the goal line. He's just really hard to tackle, and I don't think defenses like when they hand him the ball.
No, I know they don't.
So I don't expect him all of a sudden to start ripping off 150 and 200-yard games, man, but with what I've seen up to this point, he's got the best vision in their concepts, right? He's hitting the open hole way more often than Marcus Major is. And he's the most physical. So I don't know what the balance is going to look like at the running back position moving forward. But unless my eyes are lying to me, with what I saw in the Cotton Bowl, he's definitely this team's best running back.
He's incredibly consistent week by week by week. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. You're going to get a tremendous amount of effort all the way to and through the whistle. He's going to be physical. He's going to be tough. He's going to step up and stone guys and blitz pickup. I'm with you. You know, I don't know if a game-breaking back emerges this season. Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe Barnes or Sawchuk get some of that burst back that we saw a year ago. I don't know, but for the time being, I'm with you. He's game in, game out, the most consistent guy we've got.
Yeah, and you look at Major, like he couldn't get much going in the running game in this one. And that obviously had a lot to do with Texas defense. But he doesn't have the same feel that Tawee Walker. I continue to think that getting Major the ball out there on the edge in space is like where he's at his best.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think he ran hard. He was playing fast. He protected the football, which is huge as well, because a lot of times guys were coming after the ball when Marcus Major was carrying it. But overall, I just feel like Tawee he's the best right now. Now we'll see how that whole situation develops moving forward, but that leads us to an O-line conversation. I would say that I try to be as fair as I can when it comes to the O-line, right? I know that I'm pretty critical of that group as a whole. It's because I have high expectations for them. I was really proud of how the way that this group played. Listen, you can go through all the plays. You can pick out plenty of bad stuff, man. There's a lot of bad from some individual guys at points in time. But what I did appreciate was they played with great energy. They were physical as hell. When they were swinging and missing, man, they were swinging. And I can live with that. Sometimes you swing and miss as an O-lineman. But the toughness cannot be questioned. That's by far the best defensive line they've played, and they didn't flinch. Now, there is a lot to clean up, but I loved how they competed. And Texas got credited with the sack. It wasn't a sack. It was a TFL on QB draw. Get out of my face with that sack stuff. Ridiculous. But did a really good job for the most part in protection. I thought Dillon Gabriel did a great job of trusting them and sitting in the pocket and just being patient. And then I thought the run game stuff from Levy was good, right? He's doing a really good job of building off those variations of inside zone, split zone, kind of just basic inside zone insert, had a little outside zone sprinkled in there, got to some of the pin pull concepts with the direct snap, a lot of different things with DG as a runner, right? In the QB run game. I mean, I thought he kept Texas off balance with everything that he threw him. And that doesn't even factor in all the shifts and motions that he was implementing pre-snap, which caused a ton of communication from Texas's defense. And I think in a lot of stuff, he ended up getting an extra hat in some of the stuff he called for Dillon Gabriel, and that was important. But do you have any, before I go through the individual alignment, do you have any thoughts on just what you saw from Levy overall?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game plan. I thought what you mentioned about Dillon Gabriel, I think, is probably the most important factor with how he played. He trusts the offensive line. And when there starts to be a little bit of chaos, instead of pulling your eyes down and just what's everyone want to do? They want to get outside, right? Pull your eyes down from the rush, get outside to try and find some safety and see what you can do there. He, instead of doing that, trust it. He knows the read is there. I just need a count more, step up into the chaos and trust your guys and deliver the football. When you start to see a quarterback do that, I think that means some good things are really about to happen.
Yep. All right, Walter Rouse. He's playing banged up, right? And even though he's playing banged up, I thought he was really good. And he had the play of the game, in my mind. DJ's game winner to Nick Anderson. They bring the corner from the boundary. He's blocking his defensive end. And this is something you see the best tackles in the NFL do, right? They just call it, hey, take the hit off the quarterback. It's basically you hang on as long as you can to your DN, and then you sacrifice an arm and try to get a piece of the guy that is a free blitzer, and you try to take the hit off the quarterback. Well, that's not what Rouse did. Rouse just blocked them both, one with his right arm, one with his left arm.
It was awesome.
You do not see that very often. And it was an incredible individual play. It's an incredibly intelligent play from him. Just fantastic individual effort, right? And those are the types of plays that decide football games, right? That's a big damn deal, man. And Dillon Gabriel probably gets sacked if he doesn't do it. And who knows what happens in that situation, right? Because then you're scrambling.
The sack there is not good. You may
Not
lose
good.
the game.
Very bad.
Right.
And other than that, outstanding play. I thought he played really, really well, especially with him being a little hobbled. He's the best we've got with his hands. The guy he gets his hands in good position and he refuses to let go. He grabs the absolute hell out of guys, and I love it. That's how you play offensive line.
Right.
Hands on, and you ain't getting them off you. I mean, I love it. But
just think about the play everyone thought was holding in the Kansas City Chiefs game was that Sunday night? Right. Whenever the guy's like just sitting there and the offensive lineman's got him right here. Right.
You know what that is? That's called getting locked up, Ted.
That's it.
That ain't holding. You people are ridiculous. All right, Troy Everett, saw him for, I think I charted it, 25 plays, did some nice things. His bad plays were bad, right? We knew it was going to be a tough matchup for him. You looked at the size that Texas had in the interior of that defensive line. Troy's just undersized compared to T'Vondre Sweat, right? But this is what I'll say about Everett, and it stood out to me, and it's something that, just being down. It's one of the advantages of being down there on the sideline during the game. That dude is encouraging the hell out of those other guys, right? Caden Green goes into the game for him. He's talking through every play, every scenario, encouraging him. He's encouraging the entire line. He's going up and down the sideline, like getting people going. Like that may not matter to some people, but I like that. Right? Guy played 25 snaps, gets pulled, but is still like in the game, in the fight, encouraging his guys. Also, I like his attitude. He seems like a fun dude to be around. But
stuff like that, I mean, chemistry matters on a football team.
For sure.
It matters. Rarely do you win anything of consequence if you don't have a big group that love each other. And it's very easy to not play well at times, get pulled from the game, and someone else goes in and secretly not want that person to perform well, right? Or pout about being pulled out of the game.
You sit and pout. I've seen plenty of guys do it.
Yep.
And that's not what he did. And he deserves credit for that. Caden Green. So, Ted, I want you to put now you played in this game as a true freshman. I did not. 25 plays. Yeah. 25 plays into the game. Bill Bedenbaugh just decides to throw the true freshman out there. That typically doesn't happen.
No.
And what he did is not normal. He went in and it was not perfect. He still needs to work on his footwork. If he could just get his feet right, he's going to be in such more powerful positions, right? But dude, all things considered, that dude went in there and balled. I mean, against guys that are going to be early round draft picks. And one last criticism. He goes in. Second play, he's in. And I can't believe it. Marcus Major ends up having, I think, his best run of the day on the play. They're running outside zone to the left. They're flying off the football. What does Caden Green do? He goes right. And smokes Andrew Rabe in the side of the face. And Rabe goes twirling and flying. Oh, it's just, but it was like a gain of 8. But after that, he settled in, man. And to be thrown in the game like that, to hold your own against that defensive line. And there's some snaps where he's straight up getting after guys. And these guys are juniors, seniors, redshirt seniors. Like, that is fantastic stuff. If he can get his footwork right, man, he is going to be a monster at guard. Because the hands are good, the strain is good, the physicality is good, the mindset, like the attitude, it's all good. Get the feet right, and I'm telling you, man, the sky is the limit for him in the interior.
You think he played himself into a starting spot?
I think when you think about where they're at in the season, right, it's clear he's a more physically gifted player than Troy Everett, right? He's bigger. I mean, look at the guy. You've got these 2 weeks, right, to get him ready, like to get him acclimated. If you want him to be your starting guard, you've got 2 weeks to get him ready. And I don't know what's going on with the Savion Byrd situation. Who knows? But he never at any point looked like a guy that was about to go in the football game. So I don't know what's going on with that entire thing. But if you're going, and I don't want to say, hey, you got to prepare to play Texas again, and like you got to start that preparation now, but it's kind of how I feel, man. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to see them again, you need Caden Green at guard, not Troy Everett. And then that's really nothing against Troy. It's more, hey, Caden needs to get the reps, right? Not only in practice, like he's going to get better if he gets to go out and play, right? And handle the stress and everything that comes with playing in a game. So, yeah, I think you got to take a long, hard look at making him the starter for sure. Because in my mind, like you got to have that, hey, we're going to see the Longhorns again, kind of in the back of your mind.
And I'm sure you'll get to it, but we probably got some right guard issues.
Correct. So, McCade Matoyer, we'll just go straight there. Different week, same stuff from him, man. Just consistent. Know exactly what I'm getting from him. Physicality was good. Now, he struggled in the run game at times, got pulled a little bit, but, you know, he's battling Sweat and Murphy like they're good players. Hate that he got hurt. But I saw him after the game on the field. He was on crutches and in a boot. And I said, how bad? And he said, not that bad. So
he looked like he was moving okay out there.
So it's funny. Hi to McCade's dad, who is a listener to the pod. He told me on the field after the game, hi, Mr. Matoyer. I hope you're doing well, sir. So I guess he's broken that leg before, right? So that was, I think it was more now obviously it's a bad sprain, right? But they'd even pulled the air cast out and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long he's going to be out, but it's not, hey, he's got a fib, he's done for the rest of the season situation. We'll see what it looks like. But after I knew he was okay and that his leg wasn't broken, I said, dude, well then why the hell did you lay on the field for so long? He thought that was funny.
Well, I'm sure it probably felt the exact same as when he broke it, right?
That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of what happened there. And it's a weird play. They're like passing off a twist and he kind of just puts his left foot in the ground and it kind of rolled over on it. It looked like it hurt like hell, man. I'll be straight up. But yeah, we'll see when he's back. You would think it's going to be a little bit, man, because that was not a good situation, but they need him back. They definitely need him back. Now, Caleb Schaefer came in there and he battled, got pulled a couple times, right? Push, pull, got removed from a couple defensive lines, but once again, tough spot. But hey, he did his job on the game-winning drive, man. That's what you're looking for. So, yeah, hopefully Matoyer will be back soon-ish. But who knows, man? I mean, I don't know how bad that ankle is.
Yeah. Hopefully. We're going to need all hands on deck. So hopefully he's able to find a way back at some point.
No, I'm with you. Two more guys to hit. Yeah, two more guys to hit. Andrew Rame, considering the competition, and I say this about every guy, it wasn't perfect, but I thought it was his best game at OU. And now, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about the snap issues? And yeah, I hear you. He's got to clean that up.
Which I forgot all about that.
Dillon Gabriel's play on that one?
Snagged it, plucked it out.
Well, not even the snag, the one that went by him.
And he
just picks it up and throws it away. And I think that's when they got the roughing the punter and the drive kept extending.
Yep. But that's exactly right. Yeah. We talked about that on the broadcast. That's right.
And so, yeah, can't have that. Those have to go away. Now, one of them, he's pulling, right? They ran this little concept where he's getting out and he's pulling and kind of pulling up in for a front side backer. And when you do that, when you are a center and you are pulling left, you naturally pull the ball high and right.
Makes sense.
And this is something that no one cares about, but I'm going to tell you people anyways. When you know you're pulling left like that, right, you naturally snap it harder. You pull the ball high and right. So when you're running that play, you have to think, snap it left. That was always my thought. It's going to go high and right. Snap it left. If you snap it left and you know it's going to go high and right, it usually ends up right in the center. Mm-hmm. But if you don't run that and you don't rep it and you don't know you're snapping it high and right, but it's one of those things. It just naturally happens, right? Because you're so amped up, you're getting out, you're pulling, you're getting to show the athleticism. and that ball comes hot and high and right. You got to think, snap it left, snap it left, snap it left, right before you snap it. Just a little trick. But
on top of all the other things that you have to think about.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking in that position.
Yeah.
There's a reason I am the way I am.
You got to cook it in, though. Like a lot of that stuff that it's just, and it may be one of those, it's like a one-off play. It's not something that they major in. So he doesn't necessarily have that routine down as much. But
they don't do that. They don't do a lot of that at all. So just a little trick. Now, all things considered, I thought it was best. It's as good as I've felt about Andrew Rame after a game. He was really good in pass protection. He was really physical in the run game. I thought he did as good of a job as I've seen him on the second level, right? Working up to that second level and really hitting dudes, grabbing them. I thought he did a nice job on their linebackers. Lost some battles, there's no doubt. But that's what happens when you play. I've said it a lot, but that's what happens when you play good players, right? Now, of course, I wish there were no snap issues, but they were there, and you have to factor that in. But thought he did a nice job leading the group. This is as good as I've seen OU this season at targeting the right guys in the run game, having clean eyes and pass protection. Like, where are we working? Who does the back have? Like, it was as organized as I've felt about all of that. And that all starts with rain. So that's where, there's some place they're getting whooped, right, by good players, but they're targeting the right guys. They're coming off the ball. They're getting to the right people in pass protection. There's no free runners. That's as good as I've felt about that after a game this season, which is a big deal for me.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, just in general. Do you feel like maybe this is a come together moment for the offensive line to some degree?
Yeah, you would think they'd gain a lot of confidence from this performance. I told you guys, Texas edge guys aren't any good. I don't know. Did we call Sorrell's name all game long on the broadcast?
No.
I mean, Burt. I mean, I'm sure they made a play or two in there, but their impact was minimal, in my opinion. And Tyler Guyton was a big reason. Now, he was a little too amped up at the start of the game, right? It took him a little bit to settle in. He swung and missed a couple times, right, where he was really coming off the ball. But once again, I'm okay with that, right? Sometimes that happens. But he's got to be stronger with his inside hand, his left hand, right? And that applies to pass protection. It applies to the run game. He needs to learn like that. That has to be a weapon. That left hand has to be a weapon. But if he can get a better grasp of how to leverage guys with that inside hand, the sky's the limit, man. He did some things in this game where he's just like floating in pass protection. It's like watching poetry in motion. And these edge guys for Texas, they had no chance. Using his length, playing physical, just absolutely locking them out, vice gripping their ass. He had some outstanding stuff. It can still be better. And I'm hard on Guyton because I know how good it can be. Right? The talent's incredible. He's got to continue to keep getting better. And these next 2 weeks, right? It's a good opportunity to get the techniques right? Really get back to some of the basics, some of the fundamentals of playing the position. And if he can just be a little cleaner with his feet, a little cleaner with his hands, dude, it's going to be fun to watch is what it's going to be. But I thought he was, all things considered, I thought he was pretty good. Wasn't great. Wasn't as good as I know he can be, but still very solid.
Good. I like it. If your 2 tackles are big time strengths of the offense and the offensive line, That's a good place to start. Like you've got to go there. You've got to be there if you want to go places in the season. And that's a good spot that two of the better players are Walter Rouse and Guyton. I like it.
Yeah. Only position we haven't hit is tight end. I've been tough on Stogner. I'm fully aware of that. But let me tell you, man, that dude played his ass off in this game. And he was asked to do some difficult things in the split zone concepts. A lot of collisions for 81 in this one. But he embraced them, didn't turn it down once. Ted went and got in the mix every single time in the split zone, in the zone insert game. Had a couple nice catches, right? Work in the middle of the field, which big plays. But it's as physical as I've seen him play as a blocker. And I appreciated that, man. He got after it. It was as good as he's played, in my opinion. It was clear that this game and everything that comes with it kind of took Stogner's game to a different level. And that's where it needs to stay and continue to climb, right, through the rest of the season. Because now he showed me. Now I'm going to be on him all the time. I mean, he's done this to himself with what he showed me in this game.
Well, I'll just tell you right now, it may not vault him to all of a sudden a huge passing part of this offense. I think at this point it kind of is what it is to some degree. But the better you are blocking, the more aggressive you are in the split zone or insert game, that changes how defenses react to you and have to be more aggressive on the edge and with the backers. And whenever that's the case, it opens up more options for the play action stuff, just in general for the entire offense and for him to be a factor as well.
No, completely agree, man. Now, you got anything else about what you saw from the offense? We hit a lot.
We hit a lot. I don't think so. I think we hit it all. I feel like for a lot of guys, and this is offensively and defensively, and I think there's been a lot of these moments throughout the season. I think that's why we continue to improve. But I feel like this is one of those games where you look at it, you look at what you did and who you beat, and you also say we have a lot of stuff that we can get better. And it's not like you don't have to change anything you're doing. There's some detail stuff that we have on both sides of the ball that if we can get and become consistent, we are going to be a very, very difficult team to beat. Don't forget, we won this game giving up a block punt for a touchdown. That don't happen. Right? That don't happen. So we clean up some things in special teams, offense, defense. We can rout a team like Texas.